Emily and Sarah were just ordinary high school girls, but when they disappeared, no one suspected the quiet teen watching them from the shadows would turn Riverview into a town of fear. The small town of Riverview had always been the kind of place where everyone knew each other's names. Streets were quiet, the high school hallways echoed with laughter and chatter, and the sense of safety was comforting to the families who had lived there for generations. People often said nothing bad ever happened in Riverview, that it was a town where the worst thing you might encounter was a flat tire or a broken fence. But that illusion of safety would soon be shattered in the most horrifying way. It began with the disappearance of two high school girls on the same evening. One was last seen leaving a late-night study session, the other walking home from a friend's house. Their absence initially caused confusion rather than panic. In a town like Riverview, teenagers often stayed out late, and authorities were used to minor cases of teens returning home hours later than expected. But as the hours stretched into a full day with no sign of the girls, unease spread like wildfire through the community. Social media posts and group chats erupted with messages of worry, while parents drove the streets in frantic circles, hoping to spot their missing children. Rumors began to circulate. Some suggested the girls had run away to escape strict homes or personal troubles. Others feared something far worse, though no one could imagine exactly what. The local police were stretched thin, questioning neighbors, friends, and classmates, but every lead seemed to dissolve into nothing. The deeper investigators dug, the more they realized that these weren't random disappearances. There were patterns, details that hinted at a single person watching and planning every move with unsettling precision. Inside the quiet halls of Riverview High, an unnoticed student observed everything. Friendly in passing, but mostly invisible, this teenager had spent months studying the routines of classmates, learning when they left their homes, when they returned, and which routes they took. Every social media post, every online update, every mundane detail had been recorded and analyzed. No one suspected that beneath the ordinary facade, a dangerous obsession had been growing. By the end of the first day, parents had locked doors, the school had implemented extra security, and the town was gripped by fear. But the true terror was still hidden. The girls' absence was only the beginning, and the person responsible was closer than anyone could have imagined, living among them while plotting a series of events that would shock Riverview to its core. The town's unease deepened when another girl disappeared, this time from a bus stop near the edge of town. Parents were terrified, neighbors whispered about strange sightings, and police were under intense pressure to solve the case before more children vanished. The investigation grew more urgent, yet the more the authorities searched, the fewer clues they found. There were no forced entries, no signs of struggle, and no obvious motive. Every missing girl seemed carefully chosen, as if someone had studied their lives with meticulous attention. Authorities began to examine the girls' online activities, noticing one chilling pattern: each of them had interacted with the same YouTube channel. The channel had been dormant for months, but now it flickered back to life, posting short, strange clips at irregular hours. The content appeared harmless at first, just a dimly lit room with shadows moving and soft, distorted sounds, but something about it unsettled those who stumbled across it. Small details in the background matched elements from the girls' routines, and the more investigators watched, the more it seemed intentional. Locals who viewed the live streams described an eerie, almost hypnotic feeling. Viewers commented on shadows, noises, and fleeting movements, unaware that they were witnessing events that had already taken place. The teen behind the channel had mastered the art of psychological manipulation, blending mundane elements with subtle threats. Each post seemed to mock the audience, daring anyone to notice the hidden messages while leaving traces of horror buried beneath layers of ordinary content. School counselors noticed a spike in student anxiety. Teens avoided walking alone, groups formed around the safest routes, and rumors of a stalker spread through the hallways like wildfire. Parents scrutinized their children's online activity, unsure if a friend's screen share or a social media post could put them at risk. Even the smallest interaction, liking a video, commenting, or sharing a post, felt dangerous, as if it could make someone the next target. Meanwhile, investigators pieced together more evidence that the killer had been planning these crimes for months. Security cameras, neighborhood reports, and digital footprints suggested a calculated obsession, not impulsive violence. The person responsible knew how to evade suspicion, blending seamlessly into the high school environment while plotting horrifying acts behind the scenes. As fear consumed the town, one truth became undeniable. The missing girls were just the beginning, and the shadow lurking behind the camera had no intention of stopping. Police finally traced the live streams to an old, secluded house at the edge of Riverview. From the outside, it looked abandoned, peeling paint, broken shutters, and an overgrown yard, but inside, the reality was far more disturbing. Investigators stepped cautiously into a home that had been transformed into a calculated stage for horror. Every room told a story of obsession, control, and meticulous planning, evidence that the teen behind the crimes had thought of every detail. In the basement, authorities discovered the first of several hidden rooms. The walls were covered in clippings from newspapers and printed social media posts, all documenting the missing girls' daily lives. Each piece of information was carefully organized, creating a timeline that matched the dates and times of the live streams. Cameras were mounted in corners and along shelves, all pointed toward areas that allowed the teen to record every movement. Wires ran along the floor, connecting monitors and recording devices, giving the impression of a surveillance command center. It was a chilling realization that every act had been recorded, cataloged, and broadcast. What shocked investigators most was the audacity of the live streams. On multiple occasions, the teen had gone live shortly after committing crimes, showing glimpses of empty rooms, shadows, or objects moved out of place. There were no direct confessions, but the videos contained cryptic messages and hidden clues that suggested awareness of the investigation. The teen seemed to take pleasure in the tension, using the live streams to taunt viewers and authorities while remaining just out of reach. Experts later described this behavior as a dangerous combination of obsession, thrill-seeking, and a craving for attention. Every corner of the house reflected the teen's obsession. Notes detailing each victim's schedule were pinned next to photographs of familiar streets, classrooms, and houses. Computers were filled with digital journals tracking movements, messages, and interactions. Evidence suggested that the killings had been planned with extreme precision, from choosing the victims to selecting the timing and location, all while leaving almost no physical trace. Even with the discovery of this horrifying setup, investigators knew the danger was not fully over. The live streams had already reached thousands of viewers online, some of whom unknowingly encouraged the teen's actions through comments and shares. The investigation revealed a stark truth. The crimes were not only physical but psychological, extending far beyond the walls of the house. The town of Riverview had been drawn into a carefully orchestrated nightmare, and the full scope of the teen's obsession was only beginning to unfold. Even after the discovery of the hidden rooms and surveillance setup, the town of Riverview was far from safe. The teen behind the crimes had mastered the use of technology to stay one step ahead. Live streams continued, each one more calculated than the last. Investigators discovered that the teen used multiple devices, digital masks, and VPNs to disguise locations and timestamps. Every broadcast appeared innocent on the surface, but subtle clues revealed that the killer was not only aware of being watched, but actively manipulating both the authorities and online viewers. The town's fear escalated as parents and students realized the danger was not contained to the house alone. Schoolyards, bus stops, and streets all became sites of anxiety. Children walked in groups, always scanning the surroundings, while parents watched from windows or drove slowly alongside them. Security measures increased everywhere, cameras were installed, doors were reinforced, and students were warned not to share personal schedules online. Despite these precautions, the teen seemed untouchable, able to navigate the town undetected while continuing to taunt the public through digital broadcasts. Experts examining the live streams noted a disturbing pattern. Each video began innocuously, with mundane objects or shadows, but ended with hints of planned activity or reminders of the victim's presence. These hints were subtle, meant to be noticed by only the most observant viewers, but they caused intense fear and speculation. Each upload created a ripple effect, drawing attention and paranoia throughout the community. It became clear that the teen's obsession extended beyond physical acts. The killings were only part of a larger psychological game, designed to provoke terror, manipulate perception, and assert control over both victims and viewers. Then came the moment that shocked the town further. One live stream revealed a previously unknown room, carefully hidden from investigators. Inside, there were detailed plans for future attacks, maps marking potential targets, and notes on timing and routines. The chilling implication was clear: the crimes could have continued if the teen had not been discovered when they were. It was a terrifying glimpse into the mind of someone whose obsession and cunning had allowed them to orchestrate violence while remaining hidden in plain sight. By this point, Riverview's residents lived in constant vigilance. Fear and distrust permeated every interaction, and the sense of safety that had once defined the town was gone. The live streams had transformed a hidden crime into a shared nightmare, and the community had no choice but to watch, wait, and hope that the authorities could finally stop a predator who had proven capable of eluding capture for months. The arrest of the teen brought a sense of relief to Riverview, but the town was far from healed. Authorities revealed that the suspect, a 17-year-old student, had lived a double life: ordinary at school, friendly to peers, yet meticulously planning terror online. Every detail of the crimes had been documented, every move recorded and broadcast, and the scale of obsession shocked both investigators and the community. The live streams, once a horrifying mystery, now served as evidence of a disturbing pattern of manipulation and control. During the trial, it became clear how carefully the teen had selected victims, monitored routines, and avoided suspicion. The case revealed chilling insights into the mindset of someone capable of such calculated violence. Experts testified about the psychological need for attention, recognition, and dominance, showing how the live streams were not only a way to share acts of terror, but also a means to feel power over both victims and viewers. The evidence painted a portrait of a mind consumed by obsession, where normal teenage life existed alongside a hidden world of planning and malice. For the families of the victims, the truth offered little comfort. Their grief was compounded by the knowledge that their daughters' lives had been carefully manipulated and observed, their final moments broadcast to strangers online. Counseling programs and support groups were established in the community, but the fear and trauma lingered. Parents scrutinized every detail of their children's lives, worried that a similar danger could appear anywhere, hidden behind a friendly face or a familiar screen. Riverview itself began to change. Schools implemented strict safety measures, social media awareness programs were introduced, and the local police department adopted new techniques for monitoring online activity. The community became hyper-vigilant, understanding for the first time how easily a predator could operate unnoticed, hiding behind technology and anonymity. Even years later, residents spoke cautiously of the events, aware that the live streams had transformed a private crime into a shared public nightmare. Though the teen was in custody and the immediate danger ended, the story left a lasting mark. Riverview's quiet streets were never quite the same, and the sense of safety that had once defined the town had been replaced by vigilance and wariness. The case served as a chilling reminder that terror can exist in unexpected places and that the digital world can amplify both obsession and evil. The live streams, the hidden rooms, and the carefully planned crimes remained etched in memory, a stark lesson in how easily trust can be betrayed and how darkness can hide behind ordinary appearances.